right. Hello everyone, and welcome to Sam Live's webinar, monthly webinar. My name is Anna Iyoha, and I'll be the one taking you today. SEO trends in 2026. What still works? What doesn't? And what's next? Okay. So this our first webinar that we are all on YouTube. And I'm so excited because I'll be the one kickstarting the webinar for this. So, um, if you are here, please just let me see you in the comment section. Let me know that you're here and that you can hear me. Okay, so I can know if I'm audible. Okay. Um, SEO trends in 2026. What still works? What doesn't? And what's next? I will be sharing my slide and we'll move from there. Okay, so in this webinar, looking at things, questions that people have been having over time in regards to this new era of search. How should we do SEO um, with the should I say infiltration now of AI into search engine optimization, because search behavior has changed, SEO has changed, and the way people searched years back, few years back even, is not the way people are searching now. Search behavior has changed, the landscape of search engine optimization has changed. So in this session, we'll explore what SEO actually looks like going into 2026. We'll look at things like ranking does not oh, thank you, I can see you. Why ranking does not generate guaranteed traffic, and how visibility is evolving. All right, so we're going to break down the shift traditional SEO to the growing role of topical authority and brand signals. Okay, I'm going to be showing you how you shouldn't focus on just keyword anymore. You know, before we would say when it comes to SEO, you need to focus on your keyword research, your focus keyword, and your other keywords. But now it's no longer like that. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this transitioning from traditional SEO to AEO and GEO. Okay, so stay with me, please. Now, I think this is an icebreaker that I prepared. And I'm like, I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about SEO right now? Like, is SEO working better or is it working worse for you? Because if you asked me this question like last year, maybe around August, September, October, I'll tell you like, should I just quit? Why? Because that was around the period where a lot of things were not changing. I know we've been hearing of answer engine optimization, search generative experience as at then when it first came out, and thing was looking like okay, maybe let's check, let's look at things. But then around Q4 last year, it was obvious that if you are not like going with the flow, like changing with the way search was changing, you were going to be left behind, right? So as at Q4 last year, you had asked me this question, how do you feel about SEO right now? Honestly, I might have said I'm thinking of quitting because it was so overwhelming. Like, how do you learn AI? How? What I wanted to do was just to write, right? But so, how do you feel about SEO right now? Is it working better or is it worse for you right now? Just let me know the chat, the live chat. Okay. Should I hold on or should I just continue? Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue. Obviously, maybe there's no ice to break this point. So I'm gonna continue. Hopefully maybe somebody is going to respond. Okay, so we don't take too much time. Now, what is the reality of search today? Now, when you look at the search landscape, I hope you can see my screen that I'm sharing. I hope you guys can see the screen I'm sharing right now. So, what is the reality of search today? 60 to 63% of Google searches now end without a click to a website, meaning that um, users get their answers directly. You can see the screen. Are you serious? Oh, but I'm sharing it. Oh, oh. um, so I'm just gonna troubleshoot a little bit. Let me see. So I'm sharing and then share again just to be sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so let me see. Um, let me see. Okay, you can hear me. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm sharing right now? So I've shared it again and I'm hoping you can see it. Not at all. Oh my God. Uh, this is pretty. But if I stop sharing, nah. So if this doesn't work, um, I'm going to have to just keep talking, and I'm going to share the slides that I prepared with your email so you can have that. Is that okay? Let me just try this one last time. Okay. Let me. All right. So I want to see if it's possible to do this. I dropped the link in the chat. I don't need to add access to that. So you can also look at I'm talking, and then I'm just going to keep talking um, to avoid us spending like a lot of time. Just watch this. We are going to look into this, and I promise you next month's webinar, we need to have this sorted out. So I apologize. Um, I found a way to share, but then I didn't know that it's not going to be reflected on the other hand. So please check the link in the chat and see if you can access that link. You have access. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. So you can use that as I'm talking, just go through the slides and then, we can you can follow. All right. So the reality of search today, 60 to 63% of Google searches now end without a click to the website. Because you can agree with me, when you're searching for something these days, you can see a lot of these searches end up with you seeing like the AI overviews. And then you have the option of continuing the chat with the AI bot, and then you can ask follow-up questions without you having to scroll through multiple blog posts, right? So that's the reality of search today. And not just that, right? When you look at the number or the percentage of queries that end up with AI overviews, there are up to 93% for informational queries. So for people searching for how to's, what to do in certain situations, most of all these informational queries end up with an AI overview result. And then because people get the answers to their questions straight up, there is actually no need for them to click on any answers. So one of the things that you will notice when it comes to this new era of search is that even though you're having all these maybe high impressions, and maybe when you even check your websites manually, like maybe you check like your blog post manually, put in a keyword, when you see that your blog posts are coming up in the AI overviews, AI boards, at the end of the day, you might see that traffic to that particular post might not be as expected. Okay, for example, let me put it this way. Few years back, you see the way I was saying few years back, like it's been a long time ago. But yeah, few years back, when you search for something, when you publish a blog post and your blog post is ranking, you would notice that the impressions to that blog post would be like in the hundreds of thousands. So you can have like 100 and something, 200 and something impressions to a single blog post. Why? Because it's ranking on the um like at the top of the search engine result pages, right? So your impressions are high. However, in this new era of search, even when your blog posts are being cited by AI overviews, it's being cited is because these AI models are extracting information from your blog post. Now, they don't necessarily have to put it word for word on in the AI overview section, but they're going to cite you as a reference source to the answers that are giving their searchers. Now, the answer that you're giving their searchers already answers the questions completely. So the people don't necessarily need to come to your website. Okay, so you see your impressions are not as high as they're expected to be, and your clicks are not as high as they're expected to be. So what should you do? We'll be talking about that in in the webinar. Okay, so here are some other like reality of search, some statistics like 67% of small businesses are now using AI for content creation or SEO. 84% of marketers use AI to align their content with search intent. When AI overviews appear, click-through rates on the first page, first organic results can fall sharply, just like I explained earlier. Some reports place AI overviews in up to 47% of searches. So regardless of if it's informational or not informational, 7% of searches are going to show up, like are going to show AI overviews, right? You have AI search traffic grew by over 500% year over year in 2025 with predictions of continued acceleration. So they are saying that are using ChatGPT, using Gemini, Cloud, and whatever AI models that are there have increased by over 500%. So if you're a business owner, you own a brand, you're working for a brand, you're doing even social media for a brand, and you are not transitioning your strategy from traditional SEO into AEO and GEO, then you know that there is going to be a problem in the nearest foreseeable future. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to be looking at what is possible in this new era of search, right? So I've talked about how like the shift from search behavior, the shift in search behavior with users, with models, ranking factors, and all those things have shifted. So what is actually possible in this new era of search? This would have been more effective if you could see what I'm showing you. So I hope you've clicked on the link that I shared in the blog post. So you could see I have some screenshots that I attached to the slides where I'm showing you what is possible in the new era of search. And these are blog posts that were published this year. Okay, so all the screenshots you're seeing are things that were done this year, strategies that were put in place starting from like January. And this is February 28th, and you can already see the results here. You can see Sam Lai's blog post ranking for a query, follow and no follow links cited by AI overviews. And this particular blog post is also ranking. So it's not ranking, but it's also being cited. You can see like local SEO, small businesses being cited by AI overviews. You see like Perplexity and Gemini citing some of our posts for certain queries. And you can also see not just the blog post now, but even our services. Okay, so it's about, oh, do I have a website? Do I not have a website? This is now about how you position your business, how you position your brand, how you position your social media, profile, right, to showcase what you're doing. So it's not just about your blog post, but also your business as a whole. That is, I think, that is one of the things that I see as an advantage to search engine optimization and generative engine optimization, because now it's not just about your blog post. So you just really need to um, have your blog post main like traffic driver or your main lead generation machine or lead generation strategy. Right now, your business as a whole has the potential of being listed. So when somebody goes on ChatGPT, goes on Perplexity, goes on Cloud or whatever AI puts, Meta AI maybe even, right? And then they are searching for maybe the best baker in that particular location. Your business can be listed, or whatever business that you're doing. If it's a service-based business or a product-based business, whatever focus that your business is, right? You can have your business being listed when somebody is asking for suggestions. And one amazing thing that I found with this AI post, because like Q4 of last year and Q1 of this year, which we are still in Q1, I've been experimenting and researching a lot on all this AEO and GEO. And one thing I've found is that you can ask follow-up questions. Like, for example, when somebody asks best bakers, let's say in Benin City, because I'm in Benin, right? Best bakers in Benin City, and I have a baking business. And maybe peradventure, because I crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's, the AI model now tells the searcher, oh, Hannah's Bakery is a good bakery in Benin City, with other bakeries listed, right? You can ask follow-up questions like, what like specific services or what makes Hannah's Bakery better than this other bakery? So one thing you are going to discover is that the information you provide about your business is crucial. Okay, it's very crucial, and I'm already talking about some things that are in the other pages, but there's no problem. All right, so one thing that I found is that the information you provide about your business is crucial, like even to the smallest of words. Okay, you need to be able to, the clarity, I think that's the word now that I'm looking for, the clarity of the information you provide about your business is what these AI models are going to use. There's no guessing, there's no assumption, there's no inference. Whatever you are inferring about your business should be clear. So the AI models, they're not going to assume or infer that okay, 2 plus 2 equals 1. You need to say that your 2 plus your 2 equals to your 1. Whatever, or if it's equals to 4, that's on you, right? So the information they are providing has to be extremely clear, like clear to a T. When you do these things, the AI models love them. Like they love it so much. That's one thing that I've discovered. So if you're looking for a what do they call it now? A cheat code, my cheat code. Okay, if you're looking for a cheat code to dominating answer engines and generative engines, you have to have it at the back of your mind that the clarity of the information that you provide has to be at 100. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to look at what you need to know about SEO. So these are the SEO trends that you have, just five. It might seem like it's small, but it's not small. It's five, but yeah, it's loaded. Okay, so the first one I have here is ranking does not equal check anymore. And if you are following as I was talking, you would know that this is true. Because even if you're ranking, it doesn't equate to traffic. Because you're going to see, okay, over half of searches now end without a website visit. Like I earlier said, AI summaries reduce click-through rates on informational queries. I've mentioned this before when I talked about the percentage of informational queries that are ending with overviews now. Okay, featured answers often satisfy user intent before a click even happens, right? Because when they read through the AI overviews, they already have the answers to the questions that they have, right? And then they also, if they don't have the answers, they have an option to continue chatting with the AI model and get those answers that they're looking for. Then visibility is shifting from just normal blue links to answer layers, and success is not ranking. So what do you do? If you're doing every can when it comes to SEO and it's not pushing through, it's not equal and it's not balancing with traffic, right? So how do you do it? Now, one thing I've discovered is the way you pattern your headlines. Okay, now stay with me. Now, your headlines, do to do SEO before, have your number, have the clear purpose, headline, and then, and all those things like that, and your keyword right in your headlines. But then, one thing I've discovered is that if you're trying to convert traffic, your ranking to traffic, you have to satisfy not the primary user intent, but also secondary intent. And what does this mean? Informational queries have to do with just like information majorly, right? So if somebody says how to bake a cake, right, you want to do your research to find out the secondary intent behind that query. So if the person is saying how do I bake a cake, your hand should not just be how to bake a cake. Now when they see the sources displayed, you can actually see the sources of the AI answers. So when they see the sources and they're seeing the title, how to bake a cake, right? They already know how to bake a cake from what the AI overviews is showing, right? So your title should not just be how to bake a cake, but you should have an added benefit that AI models are not going to have in the AI overviews. So, for example, how to bake a cake, your headline could be something like, oh, using ChatGPT, you know, something that piques a person's interest beyond just how to bake that cake, right? So this is what you want to try to do to see the moving from just ranking to traffic. Because if you're just focusing on the way we do SEO before and just focusing on how you can, and your headline is just benefits of baking a cake or benefits of this and that's just it. You need to impute something that can satisfy a secondary, maybe even tertiary intent, right? You're talking about, oh, I want to show you how to do local SEO for your small businesses, right? You want to attach something with it. The framework Sam Life uses, just as an example, right? And then the person is thinking, oh, so even if the AI overview is going to show me, even if the AI overview is going to show me how I can do local SEO for my business, maybe give me a list of strategies to put in place. This particular blog post that the AI overview is citing is telling me that I can even use their own framework. So the person is thinking, okay, I want to know what that framework is. I want to see the difference between that framework and what the AI overview is telling me. Okay, so when you're talking about the search trends in 2026, ranking, it's not the same thing. It's not going to translate to traffic. So you can be ranking on the first page and you might not even be cited. That's the funniest thing, because being cited is not does not guarantee that you're ranking actually. So you might not even be in that first result, but you are being cited. And you might be in the first page results and you're not cited. So it's a two-way thing. And that's the trajectory that we are seeing. Okay. But I have a cheat code for you that can ensure that you're not just ranking, but you're also being cited. All right. So trend number 2 is that trend number 2 is brand signal SEO signals now. I know before we used to have this conversation that Google did not explicitly state that social media impacts rankings, right? Because we used to have that discussion when you look at ranking factors or blog posts talking about ranking factors. Most of these blog posts will always list social signals or brand signals, and there was always that clause of Google has not actually come out to tell us that signals or brand signals impact search rankings. Now, with AI overviews, brand signals are so important. Okay, brand signals, you cannot, if you're thinking of ranking for AEO, GEO, and you are not putting brand signals into view, you are not doing well. Because here's the thing, I hope you guys are still following me because I'm not seeing any activity in the chat section. So I hope you can still hear me and you're following me. Okay. Now, one thing you need to understand about AI models is that they don't just get information from one source. And I think that's the difference between SEO and AEO and GEO, right? AEO and GEO, or even majorly GEO, don't actually take information from a single source. Just like SEO is just about keywords, and then they do the indexing, they do the ranking, and then when a person searches, they get the answers, right? But with AEO and and more specifically GEO, right? Um the models, the AI bots and crawlers, they don't just take information from one specific um, source. Okay, they gather information from multiple sources and they synthesize the information. So they're not just getting the information from a particular blog post, right? And this is also very important because when we talk about SEO, we talk about like SEO ranking for a particular keyword doesn't necessarily, it can be independent of your website as a whole. So, for example, your website might not be up to par per se, right? It might not be up to par as it should be. But if you have a particular blog post that you like optimized, like when I say optimization, I mean like you optimize that blog post fully, there is a potential that that blog post is going to rank for relevant searches around that keyword. That is SEO, right? But now when you're talking about ranking now, especially ranking for answer engines and generative engines, especially generative engines, they don't take a blog post in isolation from your website. Okay, they analyze the entire website. They analyze things like your topical authority. They analyze your brand signals. Okay, so across different websites on Reddit, Google Business Profile, local directories, right? They are analyzing you across like every single, like any digital footprint literally that you have. They analyze them, right? And then they try to understand, okay, this topic, now it's not a keyword now, this topic that this person is talking about, does this person have the necessary background to talk about this particular topic? From the digital footprint that this person has, does this person have what it takes to be an authority on this topic? Are you seeing it? So it's not just about keywords. Brand signals are your new signals. Okay, so you now you want to go check your Google business profile. You want to go check all the directories that you've been listed. You want to go see where your brand been mentioned, attributed to your brand. Okay, so you want to see, check all these things because AI is winning and reading, okay, and they're seeing it. So you want to ensure that your brand signals are on point. Okay, just increasingly evaluate who is behind the content. Brand search volume is a trust indicator. Mentions across platforms, strong perceived authority. Just like I was saying, like Reddit, Google Business Profile, website itself, like local directories, literally everywhere your brand is mentioned, they strengthen or weaken. Right? It could strengthen or it could weaken your perceived authority. Recognizable authorship improves credibility signals, right? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when I talk about structured data. Okay, strong brands are more likely to be cited in AI summaries because their brand signals are strong. That's why they're a strong brand. Okay, so trend number 3 is topical authority beats keyword, which is transitioning from where I'm coming from with brand signals. Okay, topical authority beats keyword. So now it's not just about keyword research. You're not just doing keyword research now. You're doing topical authority. So and this was one thing when we started implementing, when we started positioning ourselves for answer engine optimization and generative engine optimization. You need to analyze the content of your website and have a clear clear content clusters that you're going to keep. Okay, so you have your content clusters, you have your content category. So in a single content cluster, you could have like categories simply talk about. Okay, so and all this, and you need to link them to each other. So you can have like pillar blog posts, your pillar pages, and then you have supporting pages around those pillar pages, and you interlink them to each other. And the reason you're doing this is because you want to build your topical authority. You want to tell AI models, AI bots that you have what it takes to talk about this topic because you have the track record of consistently talking about a topic. Okay, that's what topical authority is. So it's not just about keywords anymore. Ranking for one keyword does not signal authority anymore, but when you're consistent about around like a particular topic idea. So let's say, for example, you're talking about local SEO, right? You have your pillar page on local SEO, and then you have your supporting pages where you talk about maybe one supporting post can talk about local SEO ranking factors. Another supporting post can talk about creating and optimizing your Google business profile page. Another blog post can talk about like local keyword research, right? So all this, you're trying to establish your topical authority on local SEO, right? And when AI bots, when they come across this thing, they are not just going to rank your blog post just because you optimize for the keyword local SEO. No, they are going to rank and cite your content because they see that you have a track record of talking about this particular topic. All right. Now, search engines will evaluate the semantic relationships and not just exact match phrases. So when we used to do SEO before, we used to talk about how your focus keyword has to be consistent. You have to put it here and here and here and there. But now it's not just the exact matches, right? You have to also come up with like semantic relationships, your semantic keywords, and you have to implement them in your content. All right. Pages supported by related internal linked content perform more sustainably. So when you have your internal links, um, to your supporting pages and from your supporting pages to your pillar page, right, you are able to show the relationship between your content and showcase that you have like enough topical authority on that particular topic idea. All right. Now, the next trend that I want to talk about is that's our fourth trend now, right? AI doesn't kill SEO, it exposes bad SEO. Now, one thing that if you've been doing SEO before, right? And not just doing SEO before now, you've been doing SEO well, right? The one thing you're going to notice is that you see results faster. Now, I was talking about how we started implementing and experimenting with AO and GEO strategies from Q4 of last year, and then this year that was when we started like publishing new blog posts and seeing what works and seeing the results of what we've been doing in real time. Now, one of the reasons why we are able to see these results, get cited faster, is because we have been doing good SEO practice right from time, right? This is not a 1 year, a 2 year thing. We've been building our websites with the right SEO strategies for a long time. So it's easier for us to get cited and get ranked because we've built that trust before, right? Now, one of the questions that I got from the registration form was somebody asking, how do you like revive a dead website, especially like for AU and GU? Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that you have to start from search engine optimization. That's where you have to start from. Okay, so it's even easier because if you have a dead website, you know exactly what needs to be done, right? You know that, okay, we were not doing this before, we need to start doing it. We're not doing this before, we need to start doing that, right? So if you want to take a dead website, you want to revive a dead website and ensure that it gets cited, it gets referenced, it ranks, right? You have to focus on good SEO practices, build that trust over time, and as you're doing SEO, you're not just doing SEO. I'm already moving forward, but you're not just doing SEO, but you're doing SEO, AU, and GU all in one, right? And this is because when people talk about AI, the advent of AI now, a lot of persons ask the questions like, so does this mean that SEO is dead? SEO is not dead. SEO is not dead. All right. What AI models are doing is that they are exposing people that had bad SEO practices. Because if you had good SEO practices and you start implementing AU and GEO strategies, you're going to see the results like in record time. So AI, what it does is that it makes the quality of your SEO strategy transparent by rewarding content that truly serves users and punishing content that doesn't. AI and all these generative search models, what they do is that they prioritize clarity and authority, which I talked about at the beginning of this webinar when I talked about the clarity of your information, the information about your business, right? AI and these generative search models, they prioritize clarity and authority. Authority in terms of your topical authority, right, and your brand signals as well. They summarize information across different sources. They elevate truly useful answers. So this one is not about let me just get up to the 1,200 or 1,500 word mark. You have to give information that truly helps the users, and you have to like ignore like content that is thin or vague or generic. All right. Now there's this diagram I have about the difference between traditional SEO and generative SEO. And one thing you're going to note is that why traditional SEO focuses on crawling and indexing, rankings, keyword based, hierarchical, in the sense of like first result, second result, third result, the link equity and traffic economics. You will see that generative SEO is all about semantic embedding, right? When you talk about like so people authority, some using semantic phrases across like board, inclusion and citation. So it's not about like ranking. It's about being cited and being included in AI answers, right? And it's intent based. So it's not about keyword. It's about if your answers, your information is satisfying. It's aligned with the intent of the searcher, right? And you have entity credibility. And I'm going to talk about this entity credibility because it's important, right? Your business as an entity is how you want it to be perceived. You don't want your business to be perceived as just a keyword based business, but you need to focus on building entity, right? Entities, so it encompasses all the information about your business. So your keywords has to be on point, your content has to be on point, your your information, like literally every single thing, even your content has to be on point, your blog post, your profile, right? They have to be the same, they have to give the same information, they have to infer the same thing. So if your profile says that you focus on cakes for kids and adults, right? Meanwhile, on your website you're talking about just cakes for kids, right? And then maybe on Reddit you're talking about cakes for maybe non-sugar based cake, right? Or maybe fruit infused cake. Now you see that the information is now looking like you are already three different businesses, because one business is talking about cake for kids and adults, one is focused on just kids, and the other one is focused on fruit induced infused cakes, right? You want to ensure that on each platform the information about your business is consistent and is total. So you don't leave out an information just because. You have to find a way to include all information in one. And then when you're creating content, you have to create content including this consistent phrasing of your business. This is what it takes for AI models to understand your content. Now, the fifth trend that I'm talking about now is that SEO is now three for the price of one. So when we're talking about SEO now in this new era, we are not just talking about SEO on its own. We are talking about SEO, AEO, and GEO, a search engine optimization. So you're not just doing SEO and relaxing, because SEO, when you do SEO alone, you ensure that your content is rankable. So you can rank, right? But then remember that ranking does not equal to traffic. When you're doing just answer engine optimization, it means that your content is structured in a way that it can be extractable by different sources, maybe appearing on, we don't even really have these rich results again, like featured snippets and the likes, right? But you're structuring your content in a way where it's easily extractable. So you have your header tags intact, you have your content formatting on point, but that is not the end, because not everybody is meant to come on Google, on other search engines, and type in their queries. Some of them go on chatbots, ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, Perplexity, right? They go on these chatbots to hack their queries. So if you're neglecting GEO, then you're neglecting an aspect of your traffic or your potential traffic. Okay, so when you're doing optimization in 2026, you're doing SEO, AEO, and GEO. That is three for the price of one. Okay, and I'm gonna explain on the distinction between SEO, making sure your content is rankable, making sure your content is extractable, and GEO is making it citable. Okay. Now, when it comes to SEO, you talk about like your keywords. Keywords are not dead though; they are still very important. Okay, for SEO. All right, even for AEO and GEO, because what AEO and GEO does is that they build on what you already have. So SEO is more like a foundation, right? And AEO is more like raising up the building, block, brick on brick, block on block. And then your GEO is the roofing, right? To make it a complete package. Okay. So you're doing SEO, keyword alignment, Technical edge, of course, you have to ensure that your website is on point. Technical SEO for your website is okay. All right, your website health, page speed, mobile optimization. You have to ensure that those things are on point, right? Then you have to your structured content. Then for AEO, you have your clear definitions, structured explanations, content formatting, step-by-step breakdown, sentence flow, all those things, concise summaries for your AEO, even your header tags and all those things. Now, GEO has to do with like trusted sources, typical consistency, right? Semantic clarity and authority platforms. All right. Now, patterns, rather. Now, how do you, as a business owner, need to do search in 2026? This is more like a summary of everything that we've been going over. All right. So, the first thing you need to understand that in 2026, optimization is still human first. I hope you guys are still with me. Okay. Optimization is still human first. Okay, you're not just writing for an AI models. You're not just writing for keywords. You're writing for the people that are going to read your content. Okay, that's who you're writing for. So you have to keep that at the back of your mind. It has always been and it is still there. All right. You're writing for humans first. Now, the second thing you need to note is that the algorithm changes, but intent doesn't. Okay. And this is why you have to stick to writing for humans because the intent behind the keyword, behind the topic is still going to remain the same, even if the algorithm changes. So, this is why you have to invest in good optimization practices. So the more you do it consistently over time, even if the algorithm changes, by the time the algorithm changes, all you need to do is just adjust your strategy to fit the new algorithm just a little bit and you'll see results. Why? Because you're coming from a place where you've built over time. All right. Now build trust at scale. Now this is not just about you just saying, "Oh, I publish blog post and that's it." No, you have to go beyond that. You have to go extra mile to ensure that the signal, the perception of the public of your brand is good, right? Because this is going to be a stepping stone for you when it comes to AEO and GEO. Now, the fourth thing here is of course some life, right? If you're looking at all these things that have been discussed and you feel like, oh, it's so much, like it's too much for me. I don't know what to do. I'm more confused, and stuff like that. Maybe you don't know like your exact next steps would be, right? You can contact us. You can email us at hello@sunlife.com and we are here to answer your questions, right? We have certain services on our website. You can go to our website www.samlife.com and you would see like the different services that we have, and for each of these services we have plans that can fit your budget. So it's not just about, oh, I don't have money, right? We cater to, we analyze your needs and then we give you the plan that best fits your need. And if you think that, oh, I just want you to put me through. I can write for myself. I can do some things for myself. I just need like a specific like checklist or breakdown. We offer one-on-one consultation where we analyze your specific needs and then we come up with a strategy or strategies that will help you see results and that you can implement on your website. All right. So um, right now we are going to be taking. If you have any question, please drop them in the chat section. We're going to be answering some questions that we had before during the registration. So some persons asked some questions, and I think we got about three questions, right? So I think I asked one in the course of the teaching, in the course of the webinar, how to take a dead website to a top ranking one in like AEO and I already talked about like focusing on good SEO practices, building that trust. And as you're doing SEO, you're also implementing AU and G. You have the name of the business, the location of the business, the category of the business. You have things like the content clusters. You have like your specific keywords that you want to attach to that particular business. Okay, so that's how you're doing SEO, AE, and GU together. All right, so you're adding, you're doing like a 3-in-1 strategy, because that entity roadmap or that entity map is something that's going to guide your content creation, going to guide your website optimization, the keywords that you put in, and the website, right? On your service pages, right? That is what those are the information that are entailed in the entity map, right? And we have a template that we use at Some Life, where we have like the information that you need. And those information, even when you're redesigning your website, reoptimizing your website, you just give the person that particular template, and the person can see exactly what they need to include in that what are they calling it, and on the pages on the website. Okay, so the entity building, it has a lot of information, honestly, and that's what we use. That's what I'm currently using to guide my content creation for the website. Okay, and even as I'm doing, like, okay, one of the results that we saw recently was Gemini recommending our services as one of the SEO writing services in Jacksonville. And it will shock you to know that that particular result was a result of something that I implemented literally like a week before, right? Following the entity map that I developed for okay. So and then when I did that, I went on the website, the back end of the website, and I edited that particular service page. And in 1 week, I could see the result of that particular strategy that was implemented, right? So the first thing you need to do, if you're talking of working on the website and positioning that website for AEO and GEO, the first thing you would need to do is to create that your entity framework, entity map, entity structure, whatever it is you want to call it, to build or to establish the information of your website. So on that entity map, it also has like the phrases that you will use, or the phrases that you will use consistently on your social media, on your website, on your like emails, on local directories. If you've been listed in local directories, right, those phrases are going to be consistently aligned or consistently attached to your business. So let's say, for example, I want to establish Some Life. I want Some Life to be like an SEO agency, or like if you go on the website, you would see like results based SEO agency, right? That is one of the phrases that we're using consistently. So if you go on the website, result based, result based, and by the time I was asking ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT and I asked Gemini to analyze the website, and I was like, there's this website, Some Life. Can you give me like the information on that website? It kept mentioning that result based, and then, of course, there are some other things that I cannot see, but yeah, there are something I could see the result of it, right? Because it was intentional. So you want that entity map is going to be like your framework. So that is where you start from. So when you start from there, then you go into topical authority. So now it's not just keyword research, but it's building topical authority. So you select topics that you want to become an authority at, right? That you want AI to see you as an authority in, right? You select those topics, and then you create a pillar page for each of those topic clusters. And then you create your content strategy to introduce supporting pages, and then them to each other. Always ensure you link them to each other. And as you're doing your internal linking, using consistent anchor text. So if you're linking to a particular blog post, every page linking to that blog post should talk about every page linking to that blog post should have that specific context. If not specifically, it should have it like specifically related. So if the anchor text that you're using for a blog post on phone chargers is phone chargers, right? You want to ensure that every blog post linking to that blog post or phone charger is using the anchor text phone charger. If not, you should have like something that is closely related to phone chargers, such that the AI models understand that phone charger is also equals to the related word that you're using, right? And one of the things that I ensured I did was that the moment I started publishing blog posts in January and looking into like optimizing for AUs and GUs, I created like a complete like Excel spreadsheet where I have content tracking. I have a particular tab for content tracking. I have for keyword mapping. I have for internal linking strategy. So as I'm publishing the blog post, I'm inserting the URL, I'm inserting the ratio of internal links to internal links, and then I'm also highlighting that I'm linking to and linking from the pages, right? Then I'm also having the anchor text that should be used for each of those blog posts, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is because even if I'm not the one publishing that plan, maybe somebody else wants to, and the person wants to link to it, the person comes to the website, comes to that particular spreadsheet, looks for the URL, and then sees the information attached to that URL. So the person knows exactly anchor text that they need to use for that particular blog post. So everything you need to do when it comes to AU and GU, you have to be intentional, because what the AI models are going to do is that they're going to feed on the information that you're giving to them. And one last thing I want to mention is that AI models, they love, you see the way I'm emphasizing it, they love structured data. Okay? So when you're creating your content, even in your content, they have on the SEO tool that you're using. We use rank math, and you have like when you're creating your table, you don't just copy and paste from your Word documents, right? When you put it in, you want to ensure that it's recognized as a table, right? Your tags, you want to ensure that they are appropriately tagged. Okay. Your FAQs, you want to use the FAQ schema, right? Your schema as much as you can. If you are publishing a blog post, you want to use the article schema. If you're on your service page, you want to use your service schema. On your own page, you want to use the business schema that has like your organization name, your location, organization location, your organization's I think CEO title, there are like other like minor informations that you need to attach for your organization schema, right? Attach your appropriate schema to appropriate pages. AI models love it. Like it makes work easy for them, so of course they love it, right? And it makes them understand the context of your content more. Okay, so if your service page, the schema attached to your service page is an article schema. When somebody is searching for services, you're not going to be listed because you're telling them that it's an article, not a service, right? So for each of your content that you're posting across board, you want to attach the relevant schemas to them. All right. So I'm going to stop here. And if you always reach out to me, I'm going to them in the chat bot. So you see, that's my official. That's our official. We share like things on SEO, and GEO. And then my personal is Hannah underscore where I share tips, I share results, right? That I've seen, things I'm implementing. You can follow me if you want. Follow me, okay? And then what else? Yes, life.com, of course. And you can on the website, you can check our services, you can check our blog posts. We have blog posts on AU, GEO, SEO, local SEO, SEO, technical SEO. We have several blog posts that have been published over the years, and you can follow us there. All right. Thank you so much for joining this live. I sincerely appreciate you guys that joined. And we'll be having our live next month as well. The information will be housed on our socials, and feel free to join us by then. All right. Thank you very much. And thank you, AB Grace. Thank you, Precious Wetvo. Thank you, Wealth. Without talking and in the chat. Thank you so much. All right. See you next month. Keep an eye out. All right. Bye.